In news that could be a major shakeup for 2024, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, a Catholic Democrat, will not seek re-election to the U.S. Senate. In a 4-minute video released on social media, Manchin says he has accomplished what he set out to do for West Virginia. This means that the West Virginia Senate seat will likely go to a Republican in 2024. The announcement also raises the possibility that he'll run for president as an independent. He has yet to make his White House intentions known. And joining us now is Mene Ukueberuwa with the Wall Street Journal editorial board. Mene, great to be with you again. So that big news right there about Senator Joe Manchin. If he does throw his hat into the ring, how will that change things for the 2024 election?
Well, that's an open question. What we've seen in poll after poll is that Americans are looking for a different choice from either Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Both of them are deeply unpopular, and members of their own parties would like to see challengers to them. Of course, that's what we saw on the debate stage on Tuesday night among the Republicans. And Joe Biden faces a challenger of his own among the Democrats in the form of Dean Phillips, a congressman from Minnesota. And so it's very clear that the electorate is hungry for someone who's willing to present an alternative message to these two. And it's possible that that's what Joe Manchin is thinking. Obviously, he's well known as a moderate in the Democratic Party and someone who often was able to push his own party in the Senate towards more Republican-leaning priorities and get a more middle ground agenda. But to be clear, he hasn't declared necessarily that he's thinking of running for president. It's obviously something that he's mulling. But the more immediate reason why he probably decided not to run for re-election in West Virginia is because he likely would lose. He's facing a challenge from Jim Justice, who's the governor of West Virginia, who's very popular. West Virginia has become a more Republican-leaning state over the past few years, and it's very likely that Manchin would have lost in a general election contest. And so after a long and somewhat successful career, it seems as if he wanted to retire rather than risk the humiliation of defeat in a general election.
Yeah, not a whole lot of time left, but I do want to get to this. Last night's debates where the candidates were pretty much divided on abortion. Here's what former UN Ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley had to say. Let's take a listen.
Be honest, it's going to take 60 Senate votes, a majority of the House, and a president to sign it. So no, we haven't had 60 Senate votes in over 100 years.
Mene, your thoughts on what she had to say?
Well, she's describing a real dilemma for pro-life Republicans today. On the one hand, we're in the wake of a long period after the end of Roe versus Wade, where conservatives are trying to advance limits on abortion. On the other hand, that clip you played of Ron DeSantis is accurate in that a lot of these ballot measures on abortion have leaned towards the pro-abortion side. And so if people like Tim Scott and Ron DeSantis want to advance more restrictions, they're going to have to figure out a message that's able to convince voters in some of these moderate states to go along with that message.
Mene, we have about 20 seconds left, but quickly, what else stood out to you during the debate?
Yeah, I think one last thing to focus on would be the clashes on Ukraine. You have candidate like Nikki Haley, who's much more in favor of providing strong American aid for the Ukrainians' effort against Russia, and other candidates like Ron DeSantis, who are unwilling to take a clear position on it. He says he wants to end the conflict soon, but he doesn't say on what terms. And so that's another one of the big contrasts that people should be looking for as the primary debates continue.
All right, we're going to leave right there. Mene, thank you so much for your insights. Appreciate it.
Thanks,